Yeah, hello there. I'm Dr. Krish Bab. Today I'm going to talk to you about the internal iliac artery. Much despised by students, postgraduates, and even practicing professionals. Very tough, jamboree of names, difficult to remember all these excuses. In anatomy, you have to holistically visualize the structure. 50% of the time, you derive the answer by having overall knowledge of that region. For example, take the pelvis. You should know what are the contents, what make the pelvis. The skeleton, the muscles, skeleton being the entire hip bone, sacrum, ilium, and the muscles are the outside, the gluteal muscles. Inside are the pelvic floor muscles. The contents being bladder, prostate, uterus, vagina, rectum, ureters, arteries, veins, and nerves, and lymphatics and lymph nodes. Obviously, all these have to be supplied by an artery which is going into the pelvis. The internal iliac artery is the artery of the pelvis. It is a branch from the common iliac, which divides into an external iliac. The external iliac goes down to supply the lower limb, the external aspect of the lower limb completely. The internal iliac supplies all the viscera and the muscles of the pelvis. Once it descends on the pelvic wall, it divides into anterior and posterior divisions. The posterior one is a purely somatic division. It gives off three branches, the iliolumbar, lateral sacral, and ends as the superior gluteal artery, which is the artery found in dissection of the gluteal area. The anterior division is the division for the entire pelvic viscera as well as the pelvic floor, the external genitalia, and the remaining part of the gluteal area. As I told you earlier, if you know the viscera one by one, you can even derive the arteries as usual. The first branch is the umbilical artery. It's most of the time obliterated at birth. Sometimes it can be patent also. Obliterated umbilical artery. Then comes the superior vesical artery, supplies the bladder. Then the obturator artery. The obturator artery goes on the medial aspect of the pelvis into the obturator foramen along with the obturator nerve and supplies the adductor compartment. Then comes the uterine artery, the vaginal artery, the inferior vesical artery. The name itself signifies the supply also. Middle rectal artery, and ends by two divisions as the internal pudendal artery and the inferior gluteal artery. The inferior gluteal artery escapes off from the pelvis to go into the gluteal region under the piriformis muscle. The pudendal artery supplies the entire pelvic floor, external genitalia, and the perineum and perianum by its end branches. People tell that without placards, without diagrams, without demos, how can you lecture? Yes, correct. To start with, we always read those. This is one of the most grueling systems in the world. The medical system, undergraduation, post-graduation, postdoctoral, all involve hours and hours of viva voce examination. You should be geared up for that. That is the idea of the whole exercise. The viva voce examination is itself an honor for the entire system, both to the examiner and to the examinee also. That is why a holistic way of approach to the anatomy will make things interesting for you. It will be a catalyst to you to read more and to derive more knowledge. Thank you. Good day.